Welcome, dear friends, to Kardec Radio at 11 p.m., nourishing our souls with the laws of love. Every day, we are sipping on this living waters of this book, Laws of Love by Emmanuel, through two mediums. In 1962, the book came along, and in 63, it was published. Now let's think together. Why does this book, apparently simple, 8 chapters, questions and answers, came through two mediums? Why? Several reasons could be our hypothesis. One of them, the nature, how serious the matter is. We're talking about the laws of God, which are the laws of love. And this doesn't come from one single medium. It comes from different mediums, quite different, because Chico, Xavier, and Waldo Vieira were quite different, not only age-wise, but their educational background, family background, very different. And the other thing that comes to our mind is to vouch for the truth in itself. As Kardec explains in all of his books, especially the medium's book, through different mediums, we vouch for the veracity, the truth of a message. Different mediums, same spirit. Different mediums, same spirit, and one common objective. The book Laws of Love comes to educate us about how we see, how we feel about suffering. From the Spiritist perspective, 8 chapters. We've studied them, and we're about halfway through the last chapter, which is about redemption. Redemption is a word that we hear nowadays in the evangelical circles, and also we hear in the business circles. What does it mean? We've discussed it previously. Redemption means when we no longer are going to commit wrong things, evil things, when we're going to rise above it, regenerating ourselves. The first question of this book was discussed about when this is going to happen. And you already know the answer. We can quickly recap it. Emmanuel says we will redeem ourselves when we consciously understand that all sufferings come from the laws of love that govern life. Not that God created suffering, but when we didn't comply, we suffer. Maybe not in this life, previous lives. And now here we are to adjust ourselves. Now we are at a particular question. It's a single question today because it's very deep. The question that is given to Emmanuel is, in order for us to purify ourselves, is it enough to accommodate ourselves in sadness, solitude, before the demands or the excessive demands of service towards the happiness of others? First word, purification. What does that mean? When we think I'm purifying myself, spiritually speaking, if we go to the Greek root of the word purification, it means to become selfless. And this is one of the major achievements of the spirit who evolves. Everything we do, we kind of calculate. I like it, I don't like it. I want it, I don't want it. Selfish. I'm still the reference. Jesus came and taught us a new way. It's not about if I like it. We never heard Jesus say, I don't like this, I like that. I want this, I want that. He said, my Father sent me here. Our Father wants this. So you and I are being invited to go a new route, to wake up every day thinking, how can I help the general good? Sometimes people feel that the call to selflessness is retreating from the world because the world is impure, mundane, and then we're sad and alone. Is that enough? But Vanessa, it's so demanding to be with people. It's so intense. Well, why are we here for? To practice this new level of emotional, spiritual intelligence. You and I are being invited to selflessness, to think of the needs of others, even before our own, which is very difficult because we're afraid. What if people don't give me what I need? So I need to be selfish. We justify ourselves. How does Emmanuel clarify this question, this issue? He explains in 3 lines. Almost always, we demand the maximum of others, from others, in the construction of our happiness, without giving the maximum of ourselves in the preservation of our own security. Therefore, in order for us to improve ourselves, it's imperative, it's urgent to sustain activities and works of sacrifice. Now we said a key word, sacrifice. And people are like, oh my gosh, no, we're going to write on the whiteboard. Because people don't like this word, right? So who does? We're not crazy, but it's a new meaning here. What is this word, sacrifice? What does it mean? Sacrifice of what? Of what? Of ourselves. Of our ego. It's when we give room to our collectiveness, to our unity, to the wholeness of life. When I help someone, I'm being helped. Let's go to the book. To the book, Jesus in the Home. There's a chapter that is named Mutual Help. 2 old men who are sick are traveling. They are passing by through a desert to get to an inn. And they find a child that is almost dead. One of them looks at the child and says, I think this child is dead. I don't see her breathing. The other one says, I don't think so. I can see some breath. Let's help her. The first one said, I'm sick, I'm old. We won't make it. How are we going to take this child all through this desert till we reach the inn? We're going to die. We're not going to make it. The other one said, oh, well, I don't think I can go on. That's okay. If you can, if you can't, then go. I'll meet you there. He left. The other one stayed, regrouped himself, got the child in his arms, kept walking and walking through the night until both the child and the second old man reached the inn. When they arrived, they asked the person who was administrating the inn, have you seen my friend XYZ? And he said, no, he never arrived. They found him nearby, dead. Oh, the cold. The cold was the reason why he couldn't make it. He was sick, he was old. And the cold of the night in the desert didn't help him either. He died. But the second one, who was also old and sick, survived. Why? Jesus explains. Because of the exchange of the warmth. By helping this child, without noticing, he warmed himself up. The child's body helped against the chest, helped keep his warmth until he reached the end. And Jesus says that that's the only way through which we're going to evolve. By forgetting about ourselves and thinking of somebody else's needs. That's why Emmanuel, inspired by the master of all masters, in true Christ consciousness, he says, it's not enough to purify ourselves and retreat ourselves and be alone because everything is too demanding. No. We are asked to forget about ourselves, to engage in sacrifice, the sacrifice of the ego. We usually calculate. We're like this, very petty. We think, why am I going to help that person? It doesn't make sense that I stop everything that I'm doing at work to go and help somebody else, or spend my weekend helping people that I don't even know. I'm not going to get anything from them. I have to work, I have my family, I have my things, or I'm old, I'm sick, I'm tired. Or it's my vacation time, as people are saying nowadays during summertime. Now it's time to think of myself because of the pandemic. And then we travel, we relax, we enjoy however and whatever we are planning. But deep inside, we're still empty. Why? Because we haven't still understood that the goal of life is to love. Is to think of those who are in need and help them out. Without calculating why and when and where and with whom. Planning, yes, but not calculating. So here comes an exercise for you and I. In the next 24 hours. And the next 24 hours is going to be about selflessness. That's the greatest sacrifice, forgetting about our needs. We're going to renounce something that we could do, but we're not going to do because others are a priority for us. Sometimes it's when we want to relax, but a family member needs us, and we're not going to postpone it. It's sometimes when a colleague at work or a boss needs our help, and we're going to forget about our fulfillment of the duties to reach out and then come back to our duties. Maybe simple things or great things. The other day, there were construction workers working here in our street, redoing the pavement, right? And Mentor Joseph said, isn't it hot, Vanessa? Think of them, these workers. It's lunchtime. And I said, but they must have brought food somehow. It's their work. I said, well, how do you know? Some people don't take good care of themselves. And then I kept talking to him in a dialogue. And I looked at the street and I said, I can't go through with a car to pick up anything because, Mentor Joseph, look, they are just passing by. They are not going to allow me to go in and out with the car. He said, well, you can walk. Oh. But then I said, I have people at home and I have Virginia. And he said, well, bring everybody with you. It's walk with everybody and go get something for them. And then I said, okay, let me pass it by Virginia. Virginia, what do you think? What if we go nearby and buy something for them and walk. And we bring Luby the dog with us. She said, yay, let's do it. It's going to be walk mania. Why am I sharing this story with you? Because we adults, we lost the purity of our feelings. We calculate. But children, they still open. That's why we have this picture on the background. Let's be just like these children. Easy going. Easy going. Do the good because the good is good. That's it. Without thinking too much why and when and where. Stand up. Quick feet to help selflessly. That's why we're here today, because that's the law of God, the law of love. That's the exercise you and I are invited to do in the next 24 hours. Actions on selflessness. Reaching out to people, forgetting about ourselves. Forget about our plans, our needs, and reach out. That's the goal for today. In the next 24 hours, and hopefully we'll be here again together tomorrow in one more Laws of Love at Cardiac Radio, where we're always nourishing our souls. Thank you, friends.